Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Learn How to Generate Stuff. Today, we're going to be making this cool little intro opener title sequence thing in After Effects.
Every generation inherits the impossible and makes it ordinary. The only constant in human history is that we refuse to stay the same.
So if you liked it and you want to learn how to make it, stick around until the end. If you hated it and want nothing to do with it, go ahead and leave now. Either way, let's get after it. So, the animated opener. This might come as a surprise to some of you, or maybe not a surprise at all, but almost all of those assets were generated inside of Runway. Gasp! The background paper texture, all of the ink blot animations, all of the little character animation cards, all generated inside of Runway. Then the things like the text, the animated line, the color grade, the effects, and all the camera movements were done inside of After Effects. So for all you, this channel's just become an AI slop factory people, we're going to be putting in some elbow grease today. I'm actually going to show you some pretty useful so buckle up. We're jumping into the project file. We're going to take a look at that first, and then I'm going to show you how to make the stuff. Let's go. All right, we are inside of After Effects, and we're going to just check out this composition and kind of see how it's built so you can understand how to build something out yourself. I don't expect you to make the exact same motion graphics intro opener as I did because the project that you're working on is going to be different. So take the techniques and everything that I'm going to talk about today and apply it to your own project, but we're going to learn some really cool stuff. So basically the way that I like to set these up is I like to have my main composition where I'm doing all of my effects and my camera shake and my actual camera animations. And then I have another composition that's just a gigantic comp where everything is laid out flat. The dimensions of my huge comp, 9744 by 5456, those aren't like normal numbers. I just made it huge and then cropped to a region of interest in order for me to get that size. It was the size that I needed specifically for this composition. But I like to do all of the animations and everything on a flat composition. So then that way I can actually just start turning that composition in 3D space and applying a 3D camera to it. So often I will see people just starting out, or maybe somebody who hasn't done this very often, try to do everything in 3D in After Effects in a single composition, and you end up losing your head really quickly because like the layer depth gets confusing and like all of your asset management gets confusing. But if you do everything flat and then apply the camera motion to it afterwards, it ends up being a better result, in my opinion. But the way that I have this set up is my first layer up here is a adjustment layer, just with some camera shake on it. And to see what that's doing, I just have a grid here so you can actually see what the camera shake is doing. It's not like aggressive camera shake. It's kind of just drifting around the composition, but it does give it some added life and some added kind of pizzazz as it's moving through space and time. So that's those two layers. I'm going to turn the grid off for now. This layer here on another adjustment layer is Red Giant Universe Retrograde. That's applying kind of that like dirt and scratches and dust and film grain and a little bit of desaturation to my color here. So if I turn that on and off, you can see the color differences. It's adding a little bit of blur as well. Here's all my settings if you want to copy me. It's not a preset. I did a custom kind of dial in for this specific composition, but presets work just as well. And then right underneath that, I have my camera animation, which is not doing anything crazy. I am just kind of tilting the camera and moving it through space and zooming in and out on specific pieces as the thing is playing. This really isn't a crazy, feat of After Effects engineering by any means. And if you want to do this yourself, add a camera to your composition. And then right up here, there's these really handy controls to orbit around, pan, and then zoom, right? So all of these controls are really handy for this. So you can hit 1, 2, and 3 on your keyboard to cycle through them, just like that. 1 will allow you to orbit the camera. And so now I am actually pulling and pushing the camera on the X and Y axis to kind of tilt it so I can look at the composition from a different angle. If I wanted to hit number 2, that's going to allow me to pan around that composition. Or if I hit 3, that will allow me to zoom in and out on the Z axis. And you can see here that my position is changing on the X, Y, and Z as I use all of these controls right down there on my timeline. So that's just a really handy way to use the camera controls inside of After Effects. And then my bottom layer down here is my huge comp. And so if I double click into that, this is the huge composition. Everything is laid out flat, and I have all of my assets stacked in the way that I want them to appear. Starting off up here, we have all of our text files. So that's all the little like prehistoric, early settlers, 1800s, 1900s. Usually when you do text with AI, it's kind of hit or miss whether or not the text is going to stay structured throughout the entire generation. So I personally like to do all of my text stuff as a separate layer because I can control it that way. And then right underneath that, I have all of my different character portrait animations that have been pre-keyed and pre-composited. So each one of these is a pre-comp that's been shrunk down to fit inside of my main comp. And if I double click on any one of these, you can see here that I just have the animation. This is, I believe, 4K. So this is a 4K composition here with all of my assets inside. And the only thing that I'm doing to each of these assets is I'm adding a posterize time effect, which you can find inside of your After Effects effects panel. And I'm lowering the frame rate to 8 frames per second because it's giving it that kind of like jittery, old-timey kind of animation feeling that I really like. If I remove this, and then play this back, it's going to be a lot more fluid, and it looks a lot more kind of like realistic with the movements. I didn't really want that. I wanted it to be much more kind of rigid, so applying the posterized time effect to that is going to give it this really kind of cool, old-timey animation effect where the frame rate is much lower. And so I have that on every single one of my assets there inside of the huge comp. Right underneath that, I have my shape layer, which is just this line that's animating. You can see I have a trim paths applied to that layer. And if I solo that inside of my composition, it is just animating the line that's going underneath and behind all of my assets kind of as the voiceover progresses. So that's just our line that we're following there. Nothing really crazy. And then last but not least, we have our ink blot animations here. If I just scrub through, you can see that there's one bleeding behind the caveman. There's one right here above 1800s. All of those ink blot animations are laid down on my timeline. I'm doing some basic color correction here, turning it kind of yellow. And then I'm also applying a blur to that layer as well, just to kind of blend it into the composition even more. And then last but not least, we have the paper texture that was also generated inside of Runway. So the composition itself isn't actually crazy. There's not a whole lot going on in here, but the magic and the secret sauce, in my opinion, is I didn't spend hours and hours and hours searching on stock footage libraries for the right paper texture or the right character animation. There's going to be a 0% chance that I would have been able to find all of the various characters that I needed for my creative vision on a stock footage website. Maybe I would have found a caveman, but it would have been live action or claymation. And then maybe I would have found a 1900s person, but it would have been 2D animation. Like, I'm not going to find all of these things in the same exact art style. And that is why generating and creating an AI is so powerful, because you control stylistically how everything looks from start to finish. And you are generating in the palette and in the visual kind of identity of the project that you're working on. And then you're pre-keying and generating all those assets and bringing them into After Effects and treating them like a stock footage asset, like a motion graphics asset, even though it was generated with AI, which is a super powerful workflow. And the only other thing that's really in this composition is my 11 Labs voiceover. So that was also created with AI. It was just text to speech. But there's really nothing crazy going on here, guys. The ink blot animation, this is what the actual asset looked like. My prompt here for this was the ink blot slowly dissolves and disappears, leaving only a green screen background. And then for my animation, I just reversed that layer so that it looked like it was coming out of the paper this way instead of shrinking back into the paper. So that was just a little convenient way I can trick the animation into doing what I want just by simply reversing that layer. And just for posterity, here is the graphic animation for my caveman. And obviously, when you're working with AI stuff, it's not going to be 100% perfect every time. For example, like his head is kind of going above the paper line here. So if I was working a little bit more smart, which I'm not because I was just trying to rush to get this video out, what I could do is I could actually come in here, duplicate this layer, add a freeze frame, time freeze frame, and then come over here and just cut out a hard line on my paper, like so. Maybe we'll just do this around the tape. Nothing crazy here. And now that top layer is going to be freeze framed, and my bottom layer is going to be animated. So now his head actually goes, behind the tape here. So there's little things like that that I probably could have done, but I was rushing a little bit to get the tutorial done. But something like this would have been better for my needs. But hey, what are you going to do? So if you're working on a motion graphics project or any other project that needs animated elements, you can just generate them yourself. Stop wasting your time just endlessly scrolling on stock footage websites, trying to find the thing that might work, but might not work, but you're just going to settle for it because you're sick of wasting your time and you're sick of scrolling on a stock footage website. Just make something that's unique to your project, that you created yourself, that you animated yourself, and that you fit in, and it all just works. Why wouldn't you want to do that? If you do want to do it yourself, which is why I'm assuming you're watching this video right now, drop a comment and a like on this video if you like it so far. I'm going to show you how to do it right now. Open up Runway, and all you're going to do is open up a new session, then explain the thing that you want to animate. In this case, let's do something like a stylized graphic halftone eyeball against a flat chroma green background color. Then once you have an image that you like, swap over to the Video tab and choose Gen 4.5 Image to Video, or you can use VO 3.1 if you'd like, and type in a simple animation prompt, making sure to also include the background remains a flat green color. Then find an output that you like and upscale it to 4K as an optional step before downloading, and then download that asset and bring it into After Effects. Do a quick search in your effects panel for key light and then apply the key light bundle with the cleaner and the spill suppressor on it, and then eyedrop select your green background color, then swap the mode into screen matte mode. Tool down the screen matte options and adjust the black and white levels until your object is completely white and the background is completely black. Then swap back over to the intermediate mode, and in the effects panel, make sure to enable the advanced spill suppressor, which will clean up any green edges. As an optional step, add a simple choker to the green screen clip to help clean up any edges even further, but it's not necessarily necessary. It's not necessarily necessary. Now, all you have to do is export this keyed layer as a ProRes 4444 file with alpha transparency. This will help drastically reduce your timeline bloat so that your computer doesn't have to overwork to constantly be previewing all your green screen keys. If you pre-key and pre-export that asset and then bring it back into your project, it's just gonna make things run so much smoother. And last but not least, drop the new asset into the huge composition and place it where you want it. And with that, a hearty congratulations, because you have generated, animated, keyed, and placed your own generative AI asset into a motion graphics composition timeline. We're blending the worlds together, and admit it. It feels pretty good. It feels pretty good. Well, it's just a slop factory. No, it feels pretty good. Generative AI doesn't have to be this thing where it's assumed that you just like type in a prompt and then a perfectly polished, finished asset pops out the other side, and there's no actual work that's being done in between. It doesn't have to be that way. You can generate your own custom assets in your own custom style, and then animate them how you want, and then utilize them as assets inside of After Effects, and really blend the worlds together and make it your own and make it a custom thing. It's pretty cool. And where did you learn it? Learn how to generate stuff. That's right, baby. And all I ask in return is to drop a comment on this video down below. Give it a thumbs up if you like it, and let me know what other content you want to see from me. You know, do you want to keep blending the worlds together? Do you want to just like generate stuff? Probably both, to be honest, because I control the narrative. So, sorry. And of course, don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you're new. My name is Ian. This is Learn How to Generate Stuff, and I will see you in the next one.